changing lives for the better. Our vision is to be a transformative platform that exposes lies and reveals the truth. Mind Changers International, we on a mission. Masking the falsehoods with every new edition. We're here to enlighten your mind with this vibration. Expose the lies, speaking truth, normal conversations. Mind Changers International, we on a mission. Masking the falsehoods.
Hey, welcome to the special edition of Mind Changers Podcast. Listen, I am your host. Man, I have a special guest today, and listen, we're gonna have fun, y'all. We're gonna talk about some money. She give me money when I'm in need. Yes, we're gonna talk about money today. Listen, I have special guests up here today. This is episode 75. I got Miss Jaye Graham, owner of Anchor to Success. Yes, she say Anchor to Success. She's not playing around at all. So listen, I want to welcome to the show Miss Jaye Graham. Listen, what you want me to call you? Jaye Graham or Jamal? Which one?
You gotta call me Jay.
All right, I'm gonna call her Jay. I've been knowing her for years as Jamal, and today she want me to call her Jay. Well, listen, welcome to the show. You've been on my back about this for a while. Yes, y'all, I'm gonna tell it. She been on my back about this. You got a podcast, and you ain't gonna bring me on your podcast. You know I got my own business. You know I got that. Now you're here. Welcome to the show.
Yes. Thank you so very much. I'm
All right.
grateful to be here.
So listen, y'all, we're going to be talking about a lot. We're going to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about the things that, you need to have in place. I'm trying to get my, there you go. So listen, if you're on YouTube, here's a great thing. You can communicate with us. I can put it up here so Jay can see it. But we're going to talk about a lot of good things today. So I'm going to start off by saying, listen, welcome to Mind Changers Podcast. Y'all already know who I am, the guy with the big nose and the big eyes, the big eyes. Yeah, that's me. That's Lamar Blakney. And today's conversation is one that people need, but many of us avoid. I'm one of those people, right? We're talking about taxes. We're talking about money, fear, and responsibility, not from a place of judgment, people, but from a place of education and freedom. But because one of the biggest problems that we have in life is the problem that we don't want. And guess what that problem is? When it comes to taxes, that avoidance costs people, costs me, costs us peace, credit, opportunity, and legacy. So I'm joined today by someone who just, she just don't understand the numbers, right? She understand people. So please, once again, welcome Miss Jaye Graham, owner of Anchor to Success. So Jamal, Jay, I got to get it right. I'm so used to calling her Jamal, y'all.
It doesn't matter.
All right, so I'm going to call you Jay. I'm going to stick to the J. All right, I'm going to stick to the J. You ain't Janet Jackson, but I'm going to stick to the J. So today, what we're going to do is, matter of fact, hey, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and how you got into the tax game.
Well, again, my name is Jaye Graham. A lot of my people who know me from hometown know me by Yvette. I got into the tax game at an early age from my mom. My mom showed me how to do taxes at age 12, and it sprouted off until, I learned, she showed me how to do people's taxes at age 14 to where you can make, get paid back in the day where you have to go to the library and buy the circular.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do research then. Now it's more easy that you can just go on and key in numbers, but you still have to have the research because everybody's tax situation is different. So I've been in the tax game for a while.
Okay. So I got a series of questions to ask you today, and I know you're ready because you study to show thyself approved, like they say in the Bible, right? So I know you're ready. I'm gonna get real serious, y'all, because I play around too much. I just like having fun. Life is about having fun. If you can't have fun, then hey, while you're alive, while you're alive.
Exactly.
So Jay, let's start here. What are the problems that real people have with taxes that they don't want to face?
Oh my God. I mean, that's a loaded question with a high-powered boom.
That girl can talk too.
Most people are afraid of the taxes when they perform taxes or when they do taxes, they're going to have to owe money. And so simply they won't do the taxes at all. So they will not do their taxes, but they'll incur the interest. But oftentimes when I'm looking at tax return, it's from the simple fact that it comes from a rooted generational or grounded place to where we were taught to struggle and strive. We were taught to strive in the struggle,
Hmm.
but we were never. That being said, we miss opportunities in our taxes. Like, say for instance, one of the number one tax issue that I see is when employees go, they fill out their W-4 or NC-4, and that's it. They don't go back and do any type of calculation with the IRS. This IRS calculator to see where they are. Do they need to owe money, or do they going to break even? Or I mean, they do it, don't do it mid-year. So what happens in the end, they have this business, they have their W-2, and now they have made more money, or they have some other things going on like interest stocks or anything like that. So now they are getting this astronomical to the government of maybe 2,000 or more. So therefore they won't pay the taxes at all.
Wow, wow. Listen, I can relate, people. I can relate. I was one of them dumb dumbs. I ain't calling y'all dumb dumb. I'm just saying I was one of those dumb dumb. And Jamal, just to follow up what you're saying. So basically, a lot of us deal with paying high taxes, refunds being taken, right? Owing the IRS at the end of every year. But instead of asking why, we just get frustrated, right? So, Jamal, why do you think people avoid professional advice from somebody like you, even when it costs them more in the long run? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I don't know what you did. I can't hear you. Something happened. I can't hear you now. What happened? Oh goodness. Did you touch something? Cause you're not muted. Okay. I guess she's gonna come back in here, y'all. So let's get her back in here. I don't know why she went out like that. But yeah, so I've been one of those individuals who have made some bad decisions in the beginning of becoming employed and dealing with the IRS, FICA, MICA, JICA, and all them other jokers that be on your check stub. And I made some very, very poor decisions. Let me see where Jamal has went, because I couldn't hear her. So hopefully she'll pop right back in here. Okay, okay. All right, all right, all right. I'll be like Denzel Washington. So first of all, now I ain't gonna play around. Let me find out where she's at, y'all. Ah, things happen sometimes, especially when you live. Things can go absolutely the other way. It can go the other way. So I'm gonna tell her to come back on here. So just give me 1 minute, people. Yeah, because this was going really, really well. This was going really, really good. Let me call her so she can get back up here on the podcast. Hold on. All right, she had a technical issue, y'all. She is coming back. This was really, really going good. I'm telling you, I'm really, really enjoying the information she's already bringing to the table. There she go. There she go. All right, so let's get back focused, young lady. Let's get back focused. Say something to me so I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh my God, it's staticky. Say it again.
Can you hear me?
I definitely can. Yes. So let's get
Thank
back to the
you.
show, y'all. So let's get back to the question that I asked you, right? Um,
Okay.
All right, this is the question that I asked you. But instead of us coming to somebody like you, who's very professional, who's been doing this for a long time, somebody who can save us money, headache, and time, right?
Hmm.
We decided to go so low that the government taxes and the government's interest rate goes so high, right? So let me
Right.
ask you this: why do you think people avoid professional advice when it will cost them in the end?
I have seen in my years the reason why people avoid professional is advice is one is because most people are in a very precarious tax situation.
Mm-hmm.
They're very scared. More important is the pride thing, and they don't want people to see where they are. But one of the things I have seen when people like, hey, I know I'm in a bad situation. I mean, that's everybody in a bad situation
Mm-hmm.
because when people try to do their own tax return so low, like they
Mm-hmm.
said, like you said, what ends up happening is they miss very vital information to help them. Say, for instance, not many people know that you can take the property taxes on your car and file that with a Schedule A. Not many people know that when you sell a house, there are exchange rules that you can be able to be like, oh, I don't have to get hit with this high taxes for selling my home. If you just go in and key in number, that's data entry. Anybody can do data entry, not
Yeah.
trying to be funny, but my daughter can do data entry. But what can take care of a person is that literal research to help them out in their financial situation. Technically, people don't understand that when you get money back from the government, that's money that you let the government hold to do whatever they want to do when it interest free. So you only going to get that amount back. When people are getting like $2,000 to $3,000 back, that's $2,000 to $3,000 that you can get during the year of your paycheck, and not waiting till the end of the year to get it.
Yeah. Now I've heard about that, right?
Yes.
Basically, you get someone to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jamal, you're the professional today. I'm just the spectator, right? So you basically
Yes.
get somebody to calculate it up correctly where you can put more money in your pocket. And then at the end of the year, you may just get a little bit back, but you get more during the year. Am I correct?
Correct. Like you say, hey, I'm going to do zero. That means they're going to take all their money out now, and then you get whatever back in the year. You really just giving them a interest-free savings on you when you can actually save the money yourself, put it in a CD, put it into a money market, whatever it would be, and that's money you can say, or hide it in your pillowcase, or do the emergency envelope thing. At least you have your own money to where if you end up having an emergency, you can get it. A lot of people are really suffering, because they don't really know that. And when it comes time for them to do their tax return, oh, I owe 1,500. How do I owe 1,500? Did you
Yeah.
check the W-4 calculator, IRS withdrawal? Did you go in? How many exemptions did you do? Did you go in to do like if you had most people didn't know that you have to do like estimated tax payments to help you out during the year. Whatever you pay, you get that back based on wherever you are and how
Mm-hmm.
much money you make during the course of the year. If your life change, you buy a home, you get married, you have children, that W-4 and an NC-4 or whatever state that you're in needs to change as well.
That's right. And I've heard of that. I was with MWR. They used to talk about
Hmm.
making wealth real. They used to
Hmm.
talk about this process right here. This strategy is really a strategy. And I like what you said. So it makes sense, people, to just take your money, put zero, but take that money and put it in a money market account where you can get 4.5% interest on that money throughout the whole year. And then
Right.
you can take that whenever you got to pay your taxes and say, hey, this is what I owe back. Well, guess what? You're going to have some extra money because you made money off your money instead of letting the government make money off your
Make
money.
money.
Am I on it, Jamal?
You are on it.
All
You
right,
are
all
so
right, all
on
right.
it.
All right. So listen. So let's go to segment 2, right?
Okay.
Negotiating instead of investing. And that's where we at now,
Ooh.
but I forgot to announce it. But let me go to my disclaimer before we get any further, right? All right. All right. The views expressed in the Mind Changers podcast are intended for informational purposes only, people, and we do not foster any false information, We here to have thoughtful dialogue and not to promote any discrimination or misinformation. Listeners' discretion is advised. I almost forgot that we gotta always do our homework, Jamal. I got you. Don't move your camera. Don't move your camera. I'll bring you up. Don't I bring you up? Don't you move that camera. Don't you touch it. Don't you touch it. Don't you touch it. All right, I brought
Still
you
with
up
the
to height,
people.
right? So let's
Yes.
get to this.
Okay.
One thing I see consistently, right, Jay, is that people don't want to pay for professional help. Right, we don't
Uh-huh.
want to pay for professional help because we think we can go to H&R Block and do it ourselves. But they want to negotiate expertise. Right,
Mm-hmm.
so let's talk about that mindset and how dangerous it is, Jay.
Right.
Um, and the key points that I want to hit on today is you can't afford compliance, right? Cheap bookkeeping become expensive tax debt. If you want
Mm-hmm.
to play, you must pay the cost. So
Yes.
Jamal, let's talk about that for a moment.
Okay.
All right. So
So when I look at that in context of what you just said, all of it, I can sum it up in just pretty much like a not a short sentence. It's like you when you go to the doctor, the dentist, do you negotiate to the doctor of what they need to do as far as to make you healthy? So you have to look at it in that context. If you can negotiate with the doctor, hey, I don't want you to do this, but I want you to do this, but I still want to be 100% healthy. The doctor's going to look at you like, huh? So in terms of your health, you don't negotiate your health. So why negotiate on your wealth? We do that all the time. We negotiate on the things that really truly should benefit us. I get a lot of clients that will say, hey, your prices are too high. I want, can we go down a little bit? But at the same time, when your prices are too high, if you go out to a person who actually does your tax return or does your bookkeeping on a smaller level, then what tends to happen is the old saying, you get what you pay for. So in terms of you getting what you pay for, you're going to get a lot of interest. Your bookkeeping is not going to be clean. Now you got to pay the CPA more money because now they got to go back and do the rework of what some should have been done because you negotiate a price that was good for you. But you want to fuss in the end when you get the end result to where you get an audit letter, you get half done taxes, or even that, you get a high tax bill because of mistakes and errors and omissions. So,
wow.
negotiation on your wealth. Why would you want to negotiate on your wealth? It goes back to what I said earlier. We were taught to strive and struggle, but we were never taught to thrive in our wealth. The two cannot go together. So now we need to not negotiate. We don't negotiate our health, so we don't need to negotiate our wealth either.
Wow. That's good. That's good. And so let me ask you this.
Hmm.
And we kind of talked about this. We tapped on it just a little, right? You know,
Hmm.
let's talk about our people. Now, our people are our color people, right?
Yes.
Have you had this experience, Jay? Because you are an African American accountant, they look
Yes.
at the Caucasian accountant as his numbers are going to be calculated a little better than yours. So when they
Correct.
come to you for help, they come to you with a mind of a negotiation, but they go to
Mhm.
our bright brothers and sisters and just pay whatever they say. Have you had that experience in your business?
I get that a lot. And what I generally say is, I can't really argue about someone else's feelings and what they feel and to be true, because again, it goes back to what I just stated. We will struggle and strive and struggle, but we don't want to thrive in our wealth. And thriving in our wealth looks like what we seen before, what we trust. We kind of like, it goes back. I think the book is Ralph Ellison, Crabs in a Buckets, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We go
Yep.
back to that mindset. So we're still in the mindset of crabs in a bucket while trying to thrive, and you can't do both. Either you're going to thrive and say, I'm going to be committed to being there and doing and trusting not the color of my skin, but the fact of my educational background, how I've been in my part to where I had to pay taxes because I didn't know, or and how the fact that, hey, I can understand what you're going through in your financial situation because I know the struggle too. And here's what I did to get out of it. If we can't trust our own or build a regimen of trust, then we're still going to be in that striving and struggle. We're
Yeah.
not going to get past it. And
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah. And I wanted to talk about cheap bookkeeping, how it can
Yes.
become an expensive, tax debt.
Yeah.
And, now that I'm a business owner, you and I had this conversation. Now I know why businesses fail, not because,
Mhm.
we don't make good money, but because we don't respect structure.
Right.
That's what I found out. We don't respect structure. And if you're a cook, you ain't a numbers guy. I'm finding it out now. You're not a numbers guy. If you are a business owner, unless you went to school for accounting, you're not a numbers person. You're in the numbers as far
Yeah.
as calculating up your food costs and things like that.
Yes.
And Jamal, I will tell you this as a business owner, right? I never thought I would get in a fight with numbers. Numbers has beat me like a old person would beat a child. Back in the days, boy, they pull out a belt. You can't whoop nobody now.
Yes.
But
Yes.
let's talk about some of the things that small businesses run into when it comes to bookkeeping.
Okay. So one of the things that is common when a person can say, I want to start a business. When clients come to me, I want to start a business. Okay. What do you want to do? I want to sell purses. Well, what is it going to cost you? What do you mean it's going to cost you? What is it going to cost you to sell purses? I just want to make $100,000. So what is it going to cost you to make that $100,000? So you have to get the business owner in a mindset of what it's going to cost them to make what they're trying to make. Because with that, it comes in your advertising. It comes in your customers. It comes in mad customers you have to get refunds back. It comes in a fact to where you got to go buy product. It comes in a fact of a lot of things that most business owners don't think about. They only
Mhm.
think about, I want to start the business. The number one fail that I have seen with businesses is because, like I said, you want to start the business. What does it cost? What is it
Mhm.
going to cost you to make the money you want to make? Here's the number one thing: the structure is number one, and the second most dangerous thing to make a business go non-existent is they don't have a realistic budget. Every dollar has a job. Your job, $1 has a job to pay bills. Another job has a dollar to do go get product. Another job has to pay employees. Every dollar has a job. If you don't have a realistic budget, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Mm.
The third one is you have to have a realistic budget for your home. Because what I found out is most employees and most business owners, they're going to pay the employees first and not pay themselves. So now you rather pay the employees. Nothing wrong with that for being good hearted, but it lets me know that you haven't structured and you haven't managed well in your household, because your household determines what the business needs to pay you, because you, in fact, even though you open a business,
Mhm.
you work for that business. So that business has to pay you for the labor. So going in, that comes back to realistic budget.
Mhm.
You didn't take in consideration of what you need to pay yourself while you're paying the salary of others. You want to say, I just want to open the doors and run the business and bring it open. But then you're already in debt in the first 2 years because the business is already in a negative the first 3 years. You really start seeing growth in the fourth year. But if you can't pick yourself out of the hole, it's going to be really, really hard to. So it would be structure, determining how you want to set your business up. Make sure that you got a proper business plan, and make sure that you have a realistic budget, both your personal and your business, in order for you to thrive in
Mhm.
wealth and not strive and struggle.
Yeah. You said something that's very profound. And just I need you to take the knife out my back you just put in there, right? You said something very
Okay.
profound. And I'm be serious. You said that every dollar has a job.
Yes.
That right there is something that I needed to have heard before I got in business, because every
Mhm.
dollar has a job. That is so realistic. So let's go to our next segment, because we want to move along. We want to get through this whole episode, and do it in a timely manner. Let's talk about misinformation is expensive. Do you agree with that?
Mm.
Misinformation is expensive?
Yes, that actually that is part of one of the chapters. I wrote a 13-week course workbook
Mhm.
on debt freedom, business, budgeting, and I do believe that. And that
Okay.
was actually included in one of the chapters.
Okay. So let's talk about misinformation, right? So I'm gonna give you 3 questions, and I'm gonna
Okay.
try to give it to you so that you can remember, so we can break this thing down, right? So people
Sure.
don't understand. This is the whole subject. People don't understand how deductions actually work. That's the first question. Second one,
Mhm.
how businesses versus personal expenses affect returns. And my third
Mhm.
question is why they owe the government. So if you
Okay.
can, Jay, can you break this down for everybody that's watching today?
I can't. You're gonna have to go back over it again
Okay.
because you know.
All right. So let's
Okay.
start with the first
The
one.
the deductions, how the deductions work. So
Mhm.
when you go into, as I discussed earlier, and you go into your North Carolina, your NC4, or whatever state that you're in, you have two forms you have to fill out when you get hired. And those two forms you fill out, and you get hired, those are your deductions for your personal that you need to use. And those deductions determine the amount of money either they're going to take from you during the course of the year, or
Mhm.
the amount of money that you're going to receive during the course of the year.
Okay.
That in turn affects your tax return at the end of the year when you get your W 2 and you see gross wages and you see the withholdings and so forth. So that affects that because now either you're going to be married filing separate, which I really strongly against, but that's another segment, married filing jointly, head of household, and single. Those are your classification, or widow or widower. So those are your classification. If you are married filing separate and single, you're going to get hurt. If you're married filing separate and you have another partner with you, there are deductions that you will get if you are married filing jointly that you will not be able to get because you're separate. Head of household, yes, they have the maximums and so forth and so on. But those two classifications, married filing separate and single, are the most highest.
Okay. Okay. You good?
And the other portion of that is your business deductions. Your business deductions are your expenses that, and that's when it comes to realistic bookkeeping, not just spreadsheet. Nothing wrong with that, but you cannot determine what you made during the course of a week or a day on a spreadsheet. Everything, again, every dollar has a job, and you need to determine what that dollar amount is for that particular job.
Okay. So, second question: how businesses versus personal expenses affect your return? Now, did you answer that question, or I'm asking the same question?
It's the same. Businesses versus your tax return is, it depends. If you are a what you call a 1040,
Hmm.
1040 and a Schedule C. Schedule C is what we call a profit and loss P&L. But we know it as a flow through. I have to prepare your Schedule C on your personal before I can prepare your personal. Whatever that determined amount is, what you made for your income for that course of that year,
Hmm.
the amount of expenses you paid out, that bottom line flows through your 1040. Now I can prepare your 1040. So you have two returns in one 1040, and that is normally the reason why it costs so much.
Okay.
And with that being said, the deductions for those, like the number one is the self-employment tax, which generally people don't pay that. And that's the reason, another reason why you get hit hard in the head in the end, because I tell my clients, do a 30% cush. And the
Hmm.
reason why is because it's usually like 20 to about 25%. But if you do a 30% push on setting money to the side every time you get paid at the end of the month for your
Hmm.
business, then it helps you along the way. But if you don't set money aside, literally it looks like you're just getting free money. So
Yeah.
that's where the tax portion comes in at.
Okay. So, Jay, let's talk about the IRS calculator, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
How some people might do it. Some people, I just recently found out about it just studying for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no clue about some
Yes.
calculator. And so halfway
Yes.
through the year, from what I and correct me if I'm wrong, because you the guru right here, right? From what I
Thank
found
you.
out just going on the website throughout the year, you can kind of see where you stand and check where you stand based off
Yeah,
of what you've paid into. So that one
correct.
step alone, from what I found, can save us thousands of dollars. So can you tell us a
Correct.
little bit about this calculator?
So the IRS calculator is built and designed to help you determine where you are in your tax bracket for that year. So say for instance, I tell my clients every 3 months, if you can, go check it with your withholdings. Like whatever your withholdings is at the end of March, that is what you need to go in and check. So that will determine if you're going to pay more at the end of the year or you on track. And another one is do it at July, because if you're doing in June and July, you can actually go in and change your exemptions with with the whatever company that you work for. Hey, I want to back it down. I want to try, I want to track it up so that way you'll break even and not have to pay more. Not many people are going to tell you that, and not many people know it. Even the people that the companies that you work for, they may not say anything at all about it. But yeah, I strongly recommend and tell my clients and any of my friends to do the same thing. Hey, go check where you are. I do it to see where I am, because again, you make money, you get bonuses, you get commissions, you have other income source out like your businesses, your side hustle, DoorDash, Uber, all of that comes into play because now you got 1099s and W-2s and side hustle money. Yes, you have to do that. Because every dollar affects what you're going to pay out or what you're going to get back.
All right, then now that's great. So let me get this right, because I want to kind of break it down for the audience so that I'm gonna break it down in layman's terms, right? So basically, there's two things that can happen in July. You hadn't paid enough taxes in that you need
Mm-hmm.
to back off of your allowances, or
Mm-hmm.
you may be in a good place, like, you know what, man, I can increase my allowances because based off of this calculator, by the end of the year, I'm gonna be Gucci. Am I correct?
Yeah. You don't want to be Gucci, because Gucci means you want to get back a lot of money. No, you want what
You
you
don't want to
don't
owe
want to
nobody
do.
nothing.
You don't want to owe nobody, and you want to break even. Everybody has a dollar. Me personally, my dollar amount that I don't want to go over in paying taxes. I don't want to go
Hmm.
over 500. That
I
means
got you.
I've done something wrong. If I get 500 or go over, if I owe 500, okay, okay. But if I'm owing 1,500, 2,000, 5,000,
Yeah.
wait, what am I doing? And I'm an individual. Now, if I have a business, okay, what am I missing? Did I not do a budget right? What did I not do it properly and correctly to be able to break even?
Got
And
you.
there are certain types of businesses that you can only do, like the flow through one, which is the 1040 and the Schedule C. That's the one that you can actually manage. But realistically, if you don't know tax laws, if you haven't done any type of accounting work, if you just, jack of all trades, master of any, I just
Hmm.
strongly recommend not doing that. I really do.
And listen, y'all, if you're interested in hearing or asking Miss J some questions, inbox me. Put a comment on Facebook. I will make sure that your information get to her. So, Jay, I want to talk about self-employment does not
Mm,
mean tax-free.
no.
Listen,
Yeah.
people, if you self-employed like me, let me tell you, self-employed does not
Does
mean
not mean.
tax-free. And you know what,
Yeah.
Jay? This is the big one right here, right? People get paid without taxes taken out, and we think we're winning. I'm gonna bring me in,
Yes.
right? Can
Yes.
you explain what self-employed individuals must do differently? And so, um, I got some stuff because I did some studying, y'all. So I got get my neck get it right. Now I got some stuff I want to bring, right? And but I'm gonna let Miss J answer this question. So, self-employed people, can you explain what self-employed individuals must do different than W-2 employees?
And they still have to pay their taxes. You just have some time to pay it, but you still have to pay it because it's considered free money.
Hmm.
If you don't pay taxes, it's free money. So that goes back what I said earlier. I put a cushion. I tell my clients 30%. put it in the bank, put it to the side, put it in a cookie jar, put it in the shoebox, put it somewhere to where at the end of the year, when you file your taxes and they said you owe $2,500, the money that you have gotten during the year, you've already done it. I built a spreadsheet that does that. It has your income.
Okay.
And under your income, it has self-employment taxes. This is the amount of income that you have to pay in. If you make $100,000, 30% of the $100,000, that's what you have to set aside for that particular month.
Got you.
So
So
that's it.
let me see if I got a key takeaway from this. So set aside what 20 to 30% monthly, right? Build a cushion. And then you won't have to panic later, right? So what I'm getting from this conversation, income without planning equals debt with interest. Would you agree?
Correct.
Right. So
correct.
To me, that's freedom without discipline is just delayed stress. it's just delayed stress. And I'm gonna share this with you guys. I was sitting back, I was reflecting over my life financially. And I was sitting down and I said, what could I have done different in my life to be in a different position financially? And you and I talked about this, right? Most people live off of their gross. I call that the gross.
Yeah.
And then we buy items, homes, cars, and all these different items based off of a ghost. Now, the ghost might not be a ghost if you got children and you get money back at the end of the year. But it is a ghost for a person who owes money. And this is what I learned, and I'm going to share this with y'all. In my mind, I came up with something called 33 and a third. And I talked with you about that, Jay. Meaning that if you save, if you live off of 33% of your income, you'll never not be able to pay your bills. And if you take the other 33% and put it into something that you can invest, and then take the other 33% and use that as a tool to have an emergency account, that person, if I could build that kind of discipline, I would have no money issues. And so I went into ChatGPT, y'all, and I put in what I made over the last 20 years. And Jay, if I had used this formula, I would have had over $2.7 million put aside. And so, you know, these conversations are happening at dinner tables, not our dinner tables, but it's happening at somebody's dinner table, right? And so let's get to our next segment. I just wanted to kind of talk about that. Let's talk about fear makes people hide, Jay, and it costs them later. So one of the most dangerous mistakes that we make because we become afraid. But the longer we wait to pay our taxes, penalties grow, interest occurs, our options shrink. So let's talk about why filing, even when you owe, is still the right move.
You can file your taxes even if you owe. And if you do them yourself, there could be mistakes, omissions, energy credits for your house, stuff like that you may have not captured. Self-employment, there may be things that you don't know about. Hey, I work from home. How much of your home? People didn't even know that they can use their cell phone. Only the portion, because if you got a cell phone, you talking on your phone, then you can use some of their cell phone. If you have your lights for your home, sell up, part of your house, you can use that. It's a lot of things that we can do that if you don't know it and you don't do the research on it, then you will miss those. If you wait to pay your taxes, it hurts you in the end, particularly if you want to go out and buy a house, buy a car, or anything. Or you're in your house and you don't pay your car. Now they can attach liens to it. Now the way credit report is running now, they're running everything and they're checking everything. Oh, you don't pay your taxes, you don't do this. You're starting a business. How you gonna start your business? You got these things that are outstanding that you need to do before you do this. And now you got penalties and interest over things that should have been done or could have been done. And what could happen now is where you would have paid $1,500, set them up on a payment plan. Now that $1,500 has escalated into 5,000 or more. Now you got to call someone to come in to negotiate. Now you have a higher cost from me if I got to call IRS, sit on a long line, talk to them, then negotiate your stuff where it could have been easy to where I got $1,500. I know I'm going to, oh, let me get somebody professional, look at it. Then they can work it out. If I do, oh, let's hear your taxes are done, go set up a payment arrangement. They'll take a payment arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna still current some interest and penalties, but you still get on the payment arrangement and you still paying things off
Gotcha,
and
gotcha.
not waiting later and paying more. Down at $1,500 has cost you 10,000 with
That's
everything.
a lot
So
of money.
now
Yeah,
that's a lot.
that's a lot of money. So I want to switch over to small businesses, right? Bookkeeping.
Okay.
This segment is bookkeeping is not optional, right?
It's
So
not.
for business owner, listen, I'm learning this. Listen, I'm learning this the hard way, y'all. So for business owners, right? This might be the most important part you want to hear. What I'm finding out is improper bookkeeping. Not tracking income, not tracking expenses, not understanding financial reports. Jay, why is bookkeeping the foundation of survival in a business?
Okay. You go to work, a person goes to work every day, all day. They work 8 hours a day for whatever amount of money. Let's say that they work 20 hours, $20 an hour, for $8. It's sad, but still, the total, that's what you're gonna make. You gotta take this money
Mm-hmm.
and you come home and you pay your bills. That's it. With bookkeeping, you own a business. You got to pay the bills in the
Mm-hmm.
business. But if you don't have proper realistic bookkeeping, what are you paying for? What are you doing? You just running a business off of what's in your head. Nothing wrong with that. I know sometimes I try to do it in my head, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I have to do it on paper. Now, the caveat to that is, say for instance, you're doing great in your business. You become successful now, Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is good, everything is great. Now, business is thriving. You want to seek some investors. The first thing the investors are going to ask you, let me see your books for the past 2 to 3 years. Now you're fumbling for spreadsheets. Now you're trying to take those spreadsheets with the manipulated amount and take them to an accountant or a CPA or me to do, and now you got another charge. When actually you can have everything done and reconciliations, any type of adjustment need to be made. Now you have that. Not to mention it when you take these unrealistic bookkeep numbers to the person who preparing your taxes, they're going to have to fumble through, ask you questions, and now you're
Mm-hmm.
incurring more costs. So now you see what I'm saying? It goes from, if you go from proper planning to alignment, you don't have to pay much. But when you're out of order and you're not aligned,
Mm-hmm.
the penalty to that is you losing a whole lot. You're not
Gotcha.
gaining anything. So now with proper bookkeeping, you get your financials, you get your profit and loss, your balance sheet, and it tells you the strength of your business. It tells you where you are foundationally, and it tells you if you want to go out and get another brick and mortar, or do you want to give your employees rate, or you can make sound investment decisions on proper bookkeeping monthly and not just at the end of the year or not at the spur of the moment when you feel like, oh, I got to go grab something.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm hearing is a good bookkeeper doesn't just track numbers. They teach what every dollar means. Am I correct?
Yep.
All
I
right.
do. Yes, some don't, but I do because I train the business owner because at the end of the day, the business owner needs to know what their business is doing. Like, say for instance, we're talking now, a business owner needs like, okay, got a free time on here. Let me go and see. Let me go pull up my income statement, which is essentially your P&L that tells you how much your business is doing. Oh, I got some things in my inventory. I got my cash on hand. I got some liabilities. This tells me how much your business is worth. Your business worth determines if there are going to be any investors. If you don't have those two foundational documents,
Mm-hmm.
what you do? What you doing? You paying tiddlywinks on your finances. That's what you're doing. You literally setting yourself up for failure. So it goes back to what I said. In business, we go from personal to business. So
Mm-hmm.
we strive and struggle in business and personal, and we take that same energy and put it in our business. So again, where do we thrive in wealth?
Yeah. I got you. So we are at segment 7. We got good time left. We kind of tapped into this a little early in the conversation, Jay. Living off the net, even, paycheck to
Yes.
paycheck, right? And so I want to say, a lot of people say, I don't make enough money to do this right. But
Right.
you, Jay, teach people how to live off the net, not the gross. This is what she do,
Correct.
people. She teach you how to pay bills on time, use your resources instead of personal cash, and to rebuild credit, even paycheck to paycheck. So walk us through that mindset shift that you teach. One of the strategies that you teach, Jay.
Okay. Hey, I had to learn. Like, when you say experience is the best teacher, experience, beatings, and everything else. When money beat you, when them dollars hit you, they
Mm-hmm.
beat you down. Numbers beat you down. So it goes back to the book that I was, like I said earlier, that I wrote, the 13-week course, and it teaches you how to actually manage that living off the net. I end up having to cut subscriptions, like get down to the bare minimum, going back to the basis of where you were before you blew up and got houses,
Mm-hmm.
cars, and everything else, and living beyond your means. So now it's time to cut some things back. If that means you don't go out to eat for a week, just pick one day to go out to eat. You don't have to go out to eat
Mm-hmm.
every day. Cook in the house. You buy like $200, $100 worth of grocery. Then you're gonna spend another $100 or $200 going out to eat. That doesn't make sense. If you're trying to get someone, start thinking about your budget. Again, it goes back to every dollar has a job. What if a person has a subscription to Planet Fitness and haven't been to Planet Fitness in 5 years? So you literally just gave 5 years of $25 on a black card for 5 years out the door. That's money that could have been went to a debt or paying off your credit or putting gas in your car, putting food or what have you. So these things, the building blocks of your foundation is really a budget, a strong one. And you have to, and I say realistic is because you have to be real. If you're playing numbers, put that in your budget.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going out to drink, put that in your budget. If you're going out I built a Excel spreadsheet that has the income. It has what all the bills that you pay in your house, your income, and what all the side hustle. But it also has a bottom to where, hey, this is the money that we use for holidays or birthdays and stuff like that. So that way you're not taking money out of buckets that's supposed to be allotted for other things. And that's what we need to start focusing on. Stop taking money out of the rent money or the mortgage money to go buy Susie a birthday gift. If it's not in your birthday bucket, then don't do it. Because every
Wow.
dollar has a job. So now what you did is took that job, you stole from that job to give to another job.
Wow. I just got some revelation. And I'm not even gonna joke about this. I've just got some serious revelation based off of what you just said. So basically, let's say you are a single person.
Mm-hmm.
Every week you should sit down and take all of your debits and all of your credits and sit down and say, okay, how can I be single and successful financially in my position and I'm by myself? What I'm also
Correct.
getting in, man, listen, I've been married for 29 years. So now I'm sitting here thinking about what you just said, and my wife and I, we should have been from day one sitting down, calculating what's going out and what's coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and putting together a budget.
Mm-hmm.
I think financially we would be so far ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, it's never too late to get the right
Nope.
information, right?
Nope.
So you're giving us some really good information, Jay, and I appreciate it. Listen, I hope y'all guys are in the comments, asking your questions, because listen, there's no dumb questions.
No.
There's no dumb questions. So ask your questions because I'm gonna make sure she get back to you. I'm gonna make sure you get connected to her. I'm just gonna pass the baton from you to her. Right. So let's talk, Jay, on
Okay.
anchor to success and why your business is different. So how can I say this? Now, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about your anchor to success business, right?
Okay.
You just don't consult theory, you
No.
live it yourself.
Anchor success came about when I was in the struggle, like literally in the struggle, like robbing Peter to pay Paul, then inviting some other people over to join into the party. I mean, literally struggling. That I remember hiding my car so the repo man couldn't get my car. I remember when me and my daughter were renting that it was trying to pay the rent. And I was just living out of the pocket. It's like spending necessarily, going out to eat, balling without a budget. And then when I get moved, we bought a home. Before we bought a home, I live like, God, this cannot be my life. What is really going on? Now, don't get it twisted. I still struggle, but it's not as detrimental as it was before. But it taught me how to take what I learn and give it to other people. So now I build every job I get, I build a budget. Everything that happens in my life, when I move, if something, a subscription I kill, then I go ahead and put that money towards something else. I learned in the struggle to build these things that I'm giving, these essential tools now to help other people out so they don't have to. I built a comprehensive spreadsheet that puts all of your debt in one. If you're paying $25 on a credit card with a $10,000 limit, it tells you how long it's going
Mm,
to take you to do that. So I built another budget for your work and for your business. I mean, and your personal. It's just a matter of you have to sacrifice. If you want something in life, you
mhm,
really have to sacrifice. Me and my daughter, we wanted to move and we wanted to stop renting. So this is what we did. We stopped going out. I stopped spending. I don't need another pair of shoes. I don't need another
mhm.
pair of purse. I don't need another clothing item. If anything, I'm selling something to get rid of so I can put that money to something else. It's all about in your choices of what you really want, and you have to stick to that plan. It's hard, but it's harder to keep playing money unnecessarily when you have the tools to be able to survive in this type of economy.
Wow, that's good. So Jay, you have some packages, right? So let's
Yeah.
let's let's tell everybody out here. Listen, I know y'all know she's giving some good information. Because
Yes.
it's making me change my theology concerning money and finances. So explain your I think it's a $225 strategy bookkeeping package. Am I
So the
right?
bookkeeping package, yes, it is. It's
Okay.
$225, and what it is like for a person who's just starting business. They don't know what to do. They just know they're trying to do something. They want to be successful, and they cannot afford to pay me or any other bookkeeper right now. So what I built up is $75 for 3 hours to go through everything on your books, talk about your personal, talk about your taxes, work with you and build a simplified budget. Also, I'm creating another package for someone who, like, I can't do anything, but I know I want to do this. I'm building a spreadsheet to where.
Okay. Where in the world? What happened here, y'all? Oh, okay. Mm, this was good. This is good. Let me call her. I don't know what just happened. But she's frozen time. Um, I don't know why she's sitting here taking the selfie, y'all. I don't know why she's taking the selfie, but she'll come back in. Let me tell her to come back in because this is a really good episode. I'm really enjoying this. Let me tell her to come back in, y'all. Hey Jay.
Please leave your message.
Oh, I wonder where she answered the phone. Okay, she should be coming back up here, y'all. So hold on for one moment. It just had a little technical glitch here. Don't know why. Let me try one more again. I hope y'all getting a lot from this episode because it's a really, really good episode, y'all. Hopefully she'll come back in.
Please leave your message.
Oh, goodness. So her phone must have died. Okay, there she go. Hey, did your phone die?
I saw the phone was ringing and then it just went somewhere.
Oh, somebody must have been calling you.
The burden of responsibility, the spreadsheet that I'm building, what
Okay.
it does is allow the business owner who is just starting out to come in and it helps them to be focused on their business. So
Okay.
what they would do is I created the spreadsheet. The only thing they would need to do is go in and take their bank statement,
Mm-hmm.
drop in all of their income that they received for that month and their expenses. And the only thing they do is have the income and have the expenses. And what happens then, it tells them at the bottom, which is your net, what you made.
Wow. Wow,
And
that's
it
cool.
and what I do is this will be a monthly subscription
Mm-hmm.
for those individuals that want the business, have a business, but can't hire a bookkeeper. And this information relates and it goes straight to at the end of the year. So now they got proper books and they got information needed to prepare a realistic, sufficient tax return to help them out to avoid taxes. But it also builds them up to be able to be focused and doing things structured in a way. Now it's okay, can I get some financial statements? Sure. Here is the added price for those. But they'll see, like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. What would it take for me to hire you? But at that time, they've seen where they have saved money. Because I tell them, if I show you that I can save you $500 every month by doing one thing, would you sign on to the program? And they'll say, yeah. And I show them within 10 to 15 minutes of saving $500 or even more.
Wow. That's powerful. So, Jay, how can people get in touch with you right now? And listen, my bad. I should have had your number up there.
Yes.
But hey, listen, when you're hearing it yourself, it's just as good. It's just as good. So tell everybody how you can be reached or contacted.
You can call me at 919-714-1766. My email address is spelled Jaye, at anchored, ANCHORED, success, management, spelled MGMT.com. And my website is www.anchoredsuccessmanagement, spelled MGMT.com.
Wow. Listen, I'm going to tell you, this has been a really good episode. And Jay, I finally got you up here and you've done a phenomenal job. When I say a phenomenal job, I think you've done a phenomenal job that requires a hand clap. Yeah, I give you the hand clap, right? I give you the hand clap. So listen, y'all, here's the truth, right? Taxes aren't punishment. Their structure. Would you agree, Jay? And structure is what separates stress from stability. If you want to play the right way in life, you have to understand the rules of money. Miss Jaye Graham, I want to thank you for educating us and not shaming us, our people, right? So this is Mind Changes Podcast, episode 75. I am your host, Lamar Blakney. And listen, stop avoiding the problem that you don't want and start building the future you do. Listen, this is Mind Changes Podcast. I'm your host, Lamar Blakney, with Miss Jaye Graham. Until next time, we told y'all.
We told y'all. We came to expose the lies and reveal the truth. We told y'all. We bring in biblical principles of factual truth. We told